Welcome back to our today's lesson, where we are going to continue with the major themes that are found in the text Fathers of Nation. Well, today we are going to measure on tribalism and nepotism, neocolonialism, disillusionment, or despair. Tribalism and nepotism. Tribalism and nepotism is rife in African leadership and politics, with the colonial masters walking away with racism. Fathers of nations of the new independent Africa walk in with tribalism and nepotism. Despite Comrade Ngobile Melusi assisting the ruler in his home country, which is Zimbabwe, to fight the common enemy, who is the white man, the ruler forgets him at the time of distributing the national cake. He only considers his Shona tribesmen for the appointment to plumb position in his government. He does not appoint Comrade Melusi a minister, and when he denies the leader of Melusi's tribe, which is the Ndebele tribe, an appointment, demonstrations erupt in the south where the Ndebeles stay. Ziliza, Comrade Melusi's wife, is killed in the course of this brutal attack. Dr. Afolabi's marriage breaks because of Fini. His cousin has been sent to bring another woman, a Yoruba like themselves, who get married to Dr. Afolabi. To the Yorubas, their son, Dr. Afolabi, would secure his family by following the wishes of his family. This annoys Pamela, who, after insisting the girl should leave, finally divorces Dr. Afolabi. Neocolonialism. Africa is portrayed as a continent with leaders who are confused and easily manipulated by people experimenting with various ideological positions. Probably, they need support from outside to make head and tail of their discussions, deliberations, and plans they have for the continent. With African states gaining independence, Africans were optimistic. They believed he, who is the white man, was the impediment to their self-rule and independence. They thought all the wrongs done by the colonial masters were to be made right by the black fathers of nations. On the contrary, the situation is the same, if anything, worse than when the colonial master was around. In Kenya, through the eyes of Professor Kimani, the members of parliament who determine their salaries care 10 times more than professors at universities, something unprecedented. Professor Kimani intimates that when he was joining the University of Nairobi as a senior lecturer, professors earned more than members of parliament. Currently, members of parliament earn tenfold what Professor Kimani earns. He has the financial and economic muscle. He has 3 wives and is now taking Asiya, Professor Kimani's wife, as a 4th wife. The current crop of African leadership is now doing things worse than what the colonial masters did. Comrade Melusi says Zimbabwe has greatly changed. He helped the current leader get out Smith from Zimbabwe to gain her independence. Immediately after the independence, the leader changed drastically. The Ndebele, who helped him during the struggle, have become his enemies. He fired the leaders of the Ndebele, nor did he appoint Melusi, a minister, after having helped him. Instead, it is the Shona that is given plum jobs. Ziliza, Comrade Melusi's wife, is killed in the attack orchestrated by the government operatives. The VOA at some point, as the U.S. policy forbade hiring non-Americans. The image was bad for VOA. Mr. Robert Manley, chief of the VOA Bureau, employs Miss Fiona Mackenzie to help them get as much as possible from the summit. Though she's on the ground collecting information, Mr. Newt Sentinel, a communication technician, has a silent listener which records conversations around the Seamount Hotel. He is more informed about the ongoings of the hotel. He can tell the plans and even design ways to counter those maneuvers. Mr. Robert Money, Nick Sentinel, are in charge and can trap in all conversation so long as they are over a mobile phone. Mr. Tad Longway, the guide, is an agent of colonialism. Through him, the alternative agenda of Path Alpha is a gospel that spreads across Africa from east to west, from south to north, and finds its way on the summit's agenda. Through Dr. Folabi, Path Alpha strategy developed and designed elsewhere, the non-fathers of nations technically finds its way on the agenda and finally is adopted amidst questions. Nick Sentinel also uses the Global Positioning System GPS in determining locations of all the 4 crusaders of Path Alpha. Beyond this, he is able to tell the ongoings at Pinnacle Hotel where the Fathers of Nations are. Being attached to the VOA, this speaks volumes about the security of Africa as a continent. VOA is in control of the airwaves in Africa. Disillusionment or despair. Disillusionment is loss of hope. Africans have lost hope in their leaders. The Fathers of Nations, as they are referred to, meet at Banjul, Gambia. They plan to discuss and deliberate a strategy which is Ray Omega. While at the summit, another strategy which had not been looked into, which is Path Alpha, is plotted after deliberations, and later, a toss of coin, Path Alpha is adopted. The African leadership is painted as a visionless, directionless leadership, a leadership full of confusion. Furthermore, the summit degenerates into a fighting match. In accepting to join the Path Alpha, which is advocated for by the 4 men representing the 4 corners of Africa, it is evident Africans have lost hope in the status quo. The experience they have undergone did not give them the latitude to speak well of the system that be. Though a professor, Professor Kimani is a disillusioned man. He has lost a wife to a former junior colleague at the university who is Newborn Warong, currently a member of parliament. He lost his only daughter, Tuni, through accident, something that would have been avoided. After the fight with Newborn Warong, he is arrested and thereafter demoted to being a senior lecturer position he began at when he joined the University of Nairobi. He is a man ready to take up Path Alpha strategy to at least breathe a sigh of relief from the normal order of the day. Comrade Bobile Melusi is a shell of himself. He was in the forefront alongside the current leader in driving the white man out of the country. When his country gains self-independence, his hopes are ironically crushed by the very people he has helped get into power. He is not appointed a minister in the new dispensation. His tribe, which is the Ndebele, becomes a target community for harassment. First, its leader is not considered in the new formed cabinet or government. Further, when the Ndebele people demonstrated in what they viewed as seclusion, the government sends police officers who whip the demonstrators. Unfortunately, in the brutal attack, Comrade Melusi loses his wife, Ziliza. His business goes under, necessitating his relocation to slum, which again are brought down by bulldozers sent by the government in the guise of creating room for infrastructure. Indeed, he has lost hope in anything done by the current regime, and so when the new idea of Path Alpha comes up, he readily joins the outfit and takes up with a lot of gusto, hoping against hope that this new strategy will breathe a new lease of life in his empty and hopeless spirit. Engineer Saif Tahir, after completing his studies overseas and coming back home, is quite optimistic. He is in a cahoot with the Libyan leader and fully supports Feast of Allah, a group supported and funded by the ruler. Suddenly, the ruler abandons Feast of Allah. In his quest to propose to Rahim Mahmud, his junior at the weapons laboratory, he loses his eye, so does Rahim Mahmud. Engineer Tahir feels dejected, and to cover and run away from this despair, he leaves Tripoli for Benghazi, where he leads a lonely life. With this desperation in sight, he falls prey of the new strategy at Alpha and readily accepts it, for in it he sees some hope and solace. Pastor Chiamaka epitomizes despair and loss of hope. He was a reckless driver. He gets involved in an accident that miraculously turns around his life to become a pastor. In his second sermon, he attacks the powers that be. He is arrested and only released and banned from preaching, something he feels is not right. With these challenges, Pastor Chiamaka desperately accepts to join Path Alpha. In this new strategy lies hope for the church and the Africans as a whole. The four men from the different parts of Africa act a microcosm of a bigger picture of Africans, that Africans have lost hope and hence clinging to any shock that can give them any hope. Thank you for watching. Ensure you like, share, and also subscribe.